Aiden and the Tale of the Missing Trust. In a small village surrounded by green hills and winding rivers, there lived a playful young shepherd named Aiden. Known for his tricks and tales, Aiden's spirit was as bright as the morning sun. Every day, he led the village's flock to graze in the meadows near the woods, where his imagination ran as wild as the sheep. Aiden was a master storyteller, weaving tales of dragons, giants, and magic with such conviction that even the oldest villagers sometimes paused to listen. But, as much as they enjoyed his imagination, they also knew he had a knack for playing tricks. And though they laughed along, there was a gentle reminder in their voices. Aiden, one day you'll need our trust. One warm afternoon, while watching over his sheep, Aiden's playful heart got the best of him. What if I had a bit of fun, he wondered, grinning. He cupped his hands around his mouth and called out with all his might. Wolf! Wolf! There's a wolf in the field. The villagers dropped everything, racing toward the field with sticks, pots, and anything they could find. But when they arrived, they found only Aiden, laughing so hard he had to lean on his shepherd's crook for support. Oh, you should have seen your faces, he said, his eyes sparkling with mischief. The villagers sighed and chuckled, half relieved, half exasperated. Aiden, you mustn't cry wolf if there isn't one, said an elderly woman kindly. Trust is like a precious stone. Once it's broken, it's hard to piece back together. Aiden smiled, brushing off the warning. The villagers returned to their work, though with a bit more hesitation in their step. Over the next few days, Aiden couldn't resist. Each time he felt a hint of boredom, he would cry, Wolf! Wolf! And each time, the villagers came running, only to find Aiden grinning and the sheep grazing peacefully. They began to shake their heads knowingly. Oh, it's just Aiden again, they'd say with a sigh. And soon, they stopped running altogether. One golden afternoon, while Aiden rested under a tree, something caught his eye, a shadow lurking at the edge of the meadow. There, with its fierce eyes and sharp teeth, a real wolf had emerged from the woods. Aiden's heart raced with terror. This was no trick. The danger was real. Wolf! Wolf! There's really a wolf here, Aiden shouted, his voice echoing across the village. But the villagers, tired of his tricks, ignored him, thinking it was just another prank. As the wolf crept closer, Aiden's voice grew desperate. Please come. It's real this time, he cried, waving his arms in fear. But no one came. The wolf lunged at the sheep, scattering them as it prowled through the flock. When the villagers finally arrived, they found Aiden sitting alone, the sheep scattered and his face pale with regret. Aiden, is this another joke? Asked one villager, her voice filled with both caution and concern. Tears welled up in Aiden's eyes as he shook his head. No. This time it was real. I called for help, but no one came. His voice was heavy with sorrow. The villagers looked at each other, realizing the weight of their disbelief, and together they mourned the loss of the sheep. Days turned into weeks, and Aiden's pranks were no more. He spent his days tending to the sheep quietly, reflecting on the trust he had lost. One evening, as the sky turned a deep shade of purple, he decided to make things right. Aiden went to each villager, from the oldest grandmother to the smallest child, and offered a heartfelt apology. He listened as they shared their frustration, their sadness, and their disappointment. I understand now, he said softly. Trust isn't something to play with. I'll work hard to earn it back. In the following months, Aiden changed. He helped with the villagers' tasks, mended fences, and watched over the younger children when they played near the woods. He even began sharing stories of real courage and honesty, hoping to inspire others. Slowly, the villagers' hearts softened, and they began to trust him once more. One crisp autumn morning, as Aiden tended to the sheep, he noticed something near the edge of the meadow, a familiar shadow. The wolf had returned. But this time, Aiden stayed calm. He remembered his lesson. He didn't cry for help. Instead, he gathered the sheep close, keeping them safe and quiet. He watched the wolf carefully, and eventually, it slunk back into the woods. The villagers, noticing his bravery, praised Aiden for his courage and composure. You've grown wiser, Aiden, they said proudly. Years later, Aiden's story became a village legend, a tale told to every young child about the boy who learned the value of trust the hard way. And Aiden himself grew into a wise and kind shepherd, respected by all, his heart filled with gratitude for the trust he had regained. And from then on, the village and its people remembered the lesson that trust, once broken, could be rebuilt, one honest step at a time. The end.